Today, my name is Shana Levenson, and I'm going to be giving you some quick little tips and a little demo of doing another layer on this new black lace piece that I'm working on. I am a contemporary figurative painter that lives in New Mexico, and I started working with lace probably about 2 or 3 years ago. The dresses are made by a local lace designer that I collaborate with. Her name is Teresa Romero, and I will be showing you how I paint the skin a little bit in, and then paint the lace on top of it, and then some of the textures that I put into the colors of the black lace. So I hope you enjoy this little quick demo, and thanks for joining. So the first thing I like to do before I start to go in with the weave of the lace on top of the skin is to make sure that I have the correct values of the skin underneath the lace, so that way the form shows accurately and the lace looks three-dimensional on top of the skin. So I'll come through after I've painted the first layer of the skin, mix some more correct skin tones and values, and push some of the highlights up, as well as some of the shadows of where the lace is. So that way the lace looks like it's laying on top of the skin and is not just a part of the skin. So I'll just come through, and I'm going to squint to make sure that the values make sense. Keep pushing at these values. The values in certain areas are going to be brighter than others, because in some of these areas, like here and over here, there's going to be a weave on top of it. So the skin is going to appear darker because the black weave is laying on top of it. I also want to make sure, as I'm painting the skin before I paint the lace, that I'm understanding what's going on in the form. So that way, when I'm painting those lights and darks, I'm not just making something up. I'm actually knowing the anatomy of what's going on underneath the lace. So that way, the lace lays convincingly on top of it. So there can be shadows from the lace on the skin, and there can be shadows of the form turning underneath the lace. So I want to make sure that I'm understanding the difference between the two. So now I'm going to come in and start getting some of these little weaves that come through. I'm using a long, round Princeton brush. Let's see if I can get to zoom in. The Velvet Touch Long Round number 2. So I'm using that to get those fine lines in, as well as stand oil, which is a honey-like material, to help reshape the brush. So I'm going to come in, and I'm using a mixture of black and a little ultramarine blue, and sometimes some raw umber. And I'll start to come in and slowly paint in these lines within the weave. And I want to keep the integrity of the lace and how it's made. But I also want to go beyond what I'm seeing, especially with the color. If you guys have seen my work, you'll notice that the black lace is rarely just black. I'll come in and I'll put in some reds and blues and turquoise. So in here, I'm going to come in and bring in a mixture of a light blue, which is a Sennelier King's Blue, and a Sennelier Ultramarine Blue, to pick up some of these highlights in the applique on the lace. And then I'll come in and thickly get in a little bit of burnt umber with the ultramarine blue and start laying that in a little thicker in certain areas. So you can kind of see, especially within the applique of the lace, which is laying on top, it's sewn on top of the lace. I want to capture that three-dimensional quality of it laying on top of the lace. And then, of course, with the lace, in certain areas, I'll pick up more texture in those areas as well to show the three-dimensionality within the fine lines laying on top of the lace. I'll come into these little areas and pick up little highlights that come in on the threads. So what creates more of the realism is figuring out where the light is hitting on the form and picking up those little highlights within the threads as well as the skin. Thank you guys so much for watching this little demo of me painting lace. I appreciate you taking the time and seeing how I do what I do. If you have any questions, you can reach me through my Instagram at Slevenson, Slevenson, or through my website, shanalevenson.com. I'm always available for questions. I teach workshops, and if you have inquiries of paintings available, please reach out. Again, thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a good day.